So I've been paying attention to the internet recently, and I seen some controversy regarding Jazz Chisholm, the baseball player, and Cenat, man. And apparently they're having some lady problems. So let's start with Kai. Apparently, he's been putting out some tweets saying essentially that he's single and he doesn't want no more relationships. So apparently he broke up with his girlfriend and, you know, kind of launched him into spiral on Twitter, essentially claiming that, he's done with relationships and he doesn't even want to engage anymore. And, I feel bad for the kid. It happens to the best of us. Let's not act like we all haven't been there. It's something that everybody goes through, first of all, especially when it's like your first heartbreak. It hurts. So I understand and I empathize with him there. But, you know, looking into it a little bit more, it appears that the signs leading up to this relationship was already there. I watched this episode of BoJack Horseman, right? And one of the characters says that, when you wearing rose tinted glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. And in this case, Casanat's girlfriend's Gigi is what her name is. She was showing some red flags off rip. For me, it just comes like off like as a desperation for attention. In this media age and this internet age, everybody is trying to clamor for attention, and however they can get it, that's how they gonna do it. So apparently she appeared on some streams before and she discussed what her ideal romantic partner would look like. And according to her, it didn't really fit any of the characteristics of Casanet. But yet and still, he might have seen this red flag and he just chose to ignore it. And that happens to the best of us. You see a pretty girl, all you can see in them is what you can see on them. She's a pretty girl, she's fit, she's got nice skin, she's clearly well maintained, she's a pretty girl. But are you looking into her characteristics? And this goes for everybody. You know, we ignore the red flags, but we have to be mindful of certain things when it comes to relationships. Are you looking beyond the superficial? Are you looking beyond the beauty? And it appears Casanet, a lot of times that happens when you get into your first relationship. You don't even know what to look for. All you see is what you can see before you. Especially when it's your first relationship, you're not even mindful of the red flags to be aware of. You taking this person at face value, but I promise you, it's a lot more layers to people than what you see on the surface. I'm asking myself if I'm getting into a relationship, and especially if somebody like Kai and the other person we're gonna get into, Jazz's stature in terms of fame and relevance and stuff like that, you know, are you there for me? What's your intentions? And also, what's your characteristics? Are you selfless? Are you gonna be helpful? Are you gonna be attention seeking? And I feel like one of the biggest flaws in this situation is, the need to showcase everything. I know Casanat's a streamer and stuff like that. And people really are parasocial. They gonna try to do a deep dive into your life. They gonna try to do some research and try to find this person, whoever your partner is. So that's why you got to be extra intentional and extra mindful of who you pop out with, who you showcase. He's bringing her on stream. He's showing her off. He's bringing her courtside. And like I said, man, I feel like everything is a desperate ploy for attention. When you on that kind of level, you damn near want a partner that's going to fall back. Hey, I don't want to be in this. I don't want. I respect and I love you for what you do. I'm gonna support you, but I don't want to be a part of it. You want to get somebody that's in it for you, that likes you for who you are, and not just for the fame and attention and the glory that they can get from being beside you. And that's a lot of times what people have to decipher, especially like I said, somebody that's in this level of fame and recognition and stuff like that. You have to be able to decipher, all right, who's with me for me and who's with me for the latching on and stuff like that. And people can be manipulative, man. They can be deceiving. They can show you, hey, I'm with you to the end. But also at the same time, hey, can I come on your stream? Can you post me? Why you need to be posted? What you want to be on my stream for? Do you want to be a streamer too? Why you want to be a part of this world? Do you know what it comes with? If he's not asking himself those questions, and we can get caught up. We as human, we as men, we can get caught up in the beauty and stuff like that. I'm not even listening to your words no more. I'm looking at you and you gorgeous. But are you trying to really understand and dissect this person for who they are? Every single person has a motive. Every single person has their own intentions. Now, sometimes it might be positive intentions, but sometimes it might be also negative intentions as well. I love you, but I also want the fame and the glory that comes from being associated with you, being affiliated with you. I want to be on stream. If in my ideal situations, if I'm casting that, I don't want somebody that even wants to be a part of this life. Why you can't play the background? Why you want to be on the camera? Why you want to be on the stream? Just play the background, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully Kai can use this as a learning situation because he's really young. I'm young too, but I've been through my fair share of stuff as well, so we ain't even gonna get into that. Also, I feel like another thing with Kai is some of these lessons need to be learned off screen, bro. You don't have to tweet or post every single stream of consciousness that comes to your brain because you want to engage with your audience. That's what they looking for. The parasocials, it's certain people that's rooting on your downfall. You ain't even did nothing. He made some off kilter comments. I ain't like what he said about African Americans having no culture and whatnot. But it's people that's genuinely rooting on you to fail. And when you post stuff like this, you feeding into the fire. You adding fuel to the flame. People want to see you lose. People want to see your relationships in disarray and stuff like that. They get that satisfaction from that. People are, people's lives are so miserable that when you fail, they are thriving. They happy to see your failure because it validates their miserable life. So don't be on Instagram trying to show off, or not even show off. Don't be on Instagram trying to show these emotions and stuff like that. Keep that to yourself. You rich, you can go get a therapist. You can go pick up a Bible. You don't need to be sharing your thoughts. Every single thought, every single stream of consciousness that comes to your brain don't need to be shared. We live in a world where people think they're entitled to you, to your space, and to your peace, and to your happiness. So people not happy until you not happy. When you not happy, that's when they the most happy. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you got to be mindful of stepping into fame. If you want it, if you want to be at the top, if you want to be famous, you got to be mindful of that. It's going to be certain people that's dead hating for no reason. That's dead thriving off your failures. And you will fail. You human. It's never been no celebrity that hasn't failed, but it's also no person that hasn't failed. So when people are, man, Cenat a lame. Cenat is this, that, and the third. We told Cenat, you know what I'm saying? You ain't ever failed in a relationship, my nigga. You ain't ever had your heart broke. You ain't ever been betrayed by the person that you love the most. So you ragging on him because it'll validate you. It'll make you seem cool amongst everybody. Yeah, your hating comment might get you some likes. But ultimately, is that gonna fill you up inside? When you hating on Kai, when you rooting on the downfall of his relationship, do that make you feel whole? Do the likes you get and the comments and the validation and stuff like that, does that make you feel better? Let's get back to Jazz Chisholm. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, being famous and the perils of popping out. Yeah, people want to post a partner. Even I'm sure his partner was in his ear. These girls be in your ear. Pop me out. Pop out. Let's show the world. Let's do that. Why? So you can get somebody else in your DM? So you can get you some more followers and stuff like that? I don't know. Personally, I'd be skeptical of everybody's attentions. So I'm watching closely. I'm looking. I'm listening. What'd you say, huh? Fuck. Why? What you want to be on a stream for? What you want to be on Instagram for? Kanye said it best, man. Instagram got your bitch. Instagram got her, bro. You don't got her. Instagram got her. But I'm just telling you right now, people's brains are fried. People's brains are cooked. They want to show Instagram instead of being loved in real life. But we ain't even finna get into that, bro. If y'all want to see me talk about that, if y'all want to hear me talk about that, just let me know. He popped out and he posted his shorty with a ring. You would think the comments will be filled with congratulations. We so happy for you. Y'all look like a lovely couple. But nah, man. Something worse. Something way worse. A user pulled up this girl's OnlyFans account from back in the day. He pulled it up. Jazz Chisholm in the comments. Man, my girl never did no OnlyFans. My girl was never on that. Boom! A nigga come in the comments and post the receipts, nigga. Oh, man. I know that has a hurt in his heart of hearts. And I saw he responded to bro, yeah, I've been in the videos, da-da-da-da. Bro, but in your heart of hearts, and she didn't tell you and you didn't know prior to this nigga posting it? Because it sounds hypocritical. Is that one post he's saying, man, my girl never did that. She never partook in no OnlyFans activities. You saying, nah, she didn't do this. And then you take it a step backwards and said, yeah, I was in the videos, actually. Which one is it, Jazz? Which one is it? Come on, man, listen. I know it had to hurt, bruh. It's deception. She deceived you, bro. She told you one thing, whole time it's another. Or better yet, she didn't tell you at all, which makes it even worse. A lot of people think they not lying by leaving out certain details. That's just a lie by omission. So you lied by not being honest and upfront from the jump. And now you leave it to your man to be embarrassed publicly on the internet. Why? Well, we know why. We know why. We know why. So she can get the ring. Would he have seen her as being much more valuable if she didn't have an OnlyFans? Would he have seen her as a wifeable girl if she didn't have the OnlyFans? Now, I don't know. I don't know, bro, like that. Maybe he wouldn't have seen her as a prize to be wifed and buy this expensive wedding ring and plan this expensive wedding had he known about her OnlyFans history. I don't know. That's just me thinking. I don't know, bro. That's a question he has to ask himself. You gotta really sit with yourself and ask that question. Do you love this girl this much for you to just ignore her lie by omission? I don't know. Already starting a relationship off wrong. Y'all starting a wedding off with lies. You starting a marriage off with lies. I'm not going to tell bro what he should or should not do in terms of getting an annulment or canceling the wedding plans altogether. It's up to him if you want to proceed with this. But if you didn't know and you indeed were not in these videos, then y'all starting a marriage off with deception and betrayal and with lies. You're building a marriage on a foundation of lies. Not saying that you should ask, how many bodies you got? Who you been with? Who's your last partner and stuff like that? What's your history and stuff like that? But listen, man, you don't have to ask. She gonna tell you. If you just listen close enough, you don't have to ask all these type of questions. You don't have to do a deep dive investigative history into her life and stuff like that, into what she did in the past. She gonna tell you if you just pay attention. So, fellas, I think we should all be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to looking at the superficial things. You're not paying attention, bro. You're not paying attention because she is so beautiful. She's so in front of you. She's gorgeous. She looked like a model and stuff like that. So you ignore all the red flags with your rose-tinted glasses. But you have to listen, you know what I'm saying? People will tell on themselves every time if you just pay attention. or if you just wait. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, that's all I got on these topics, man. It's a lot more that I could get into. So in the comments, just let me know if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this. I really appreciate y'all for watching and staying tuned to the end of the video. I got a lot more content coming in the big year 2026. I'm taking a brand up a whole nother notch. And I'm declaring it right now definitively. In 2026, I'm producing my best work. The brand is going to go up exponentially. So y'all just wait and see, man. And if you watch this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Because I'm telling you, we going up. Me and you together. We going up as a whole, man. So thank y'all so much for watching. It's been your boy 50K Clay. I'm out.